What is up, guys? Welcome back to the final part of the competitive loadout guide kind of like type series. If you guys are hyped for this and you guys enjoyed this series, the final part, we're going to get right into it. Leave a like if you're new, subscribe, and share the video. Really helps me out and honestly helps me so much. Thank you guys for all the support recently. I'm going to get right into this just because we have a lot of champions to go through still, and I don't want this video to be like insanely long. We left off at Leon. If you guys missed the last two videos, go check them out. They're on the channel currently, or I'll try to put an annotation in this video or something like that. But they should be on the top of the channel, so you can go check them out there, and while you're there, leave a subscription. That'd be great. As for Maeve, I'm just going to hop right into this. Maeve, I'm going to tell you guys right now, Maeve is my most played champion in the game, and my favorite champion to ever play. The reason why I pretty much stuck with the game so long, honestly. I would only say she really has. I'd actually say she has two viable talents. Street Justice. I don't know. If you're playing Street Justice and you're above level 20, then please just uninstall the game, because the only reason to play Street Justice is because you can't aim. That's the only reason why you're gonna play Street Justice. I think it's a super cheap talent currently, and the only reason you're gonna be using it is just to steal people's kills, just because you can't aim yourself and you can't get your own kills. That's all the talent really is. I think Street Justice needs some type of rework or something currently. Rogue Gambit depends on your playstyle. Yeah, I see a lot of people use it, and a lot of other Maeve mains use it just because it gives you a lot more mobility. Having that pounce up on eliminations. I don't know. My favorite talent is Cat Burglar. That's the one I use the most. I'd probably say that Maeve as well is probably one of the only champions in the game that really doesn't have like an insanely bad loadout. You can kind of just throw whatever you really want. It really just depends on your type of play style. She's one of more of those type of champions. Now, she has a lot of options, don't get me wrong. There's some cards you really don't want to run. There were some cards, I forgot I was going to talk about that you wouldn't really want to run. I guess Predation was one of those cards till it got reworked. I think that's what I had in mind, but she really doesn't have that too many bad cards anymore. If you're running Cat Burglar, though, I think Predation is probably going to be a 4 or 5 in most of your loadouts, just because I think it's so crucial just for the reset on your daggers after that Prowl. I think Predation is one of your best cards. Now, as for that, you can pretty much run whatever you want. I don't know, me personally, I like to run a lot more self-sustain. There's a lot of DR options. Walk It Off is a great self-sustain card. Personally, I like to run that at like a 3 or 4 in a lot of my loadouts, just because I like a lot of self-sustain. Savagery as well is something I like to run in my loadouts personally, just because there's a little self-sustain there on your pounce. But apart from that, just a lot of different cards. Sixth Sense is great for DR if you want to run more of like a DR build. With Chronos 3, you're gonna be, your cooldowns ain't immensely high, but until you get Chronos 3, you kind of just have to manage your cooldowns a lot more. I also think Cut and Run is a great card to have on like a Cat Burglar set, just because it gives you so much more mobility and movement speed. Fight or Flay is also a good filler card. Persistence is a great filler card for like a Cat Burglar set if you don't want any self-sustain. Some DR while under 40% health is also great and helps you win a lot of 1v1s. Patch Up if you want a little bit of self-sustain. I don't know, she has a lot of cool cards, at least for like a Cat Burglar set. It's kind of just what you want to run. Predation, I'd say, it's like the only card you really want. Apart from that, I'd say movement speed, at least for me personally, after getting a kill or elimination, but you can pretty much run whatever you want after that card. As for like Rogue's Gambit, I really don't play Rogue's Gambit very much, so I'm just guessing it's a lot of DR on like pounds and stuff like that. Maybe self-sustain. Like I said, it's kind of what you really want. Street Justice, for some reason, if you're running Street Justice, I would just run like max 9 lives reset on 5. I don't know, maybe some DR and pounds, a lot of DR and pounds, and DR under 40%, maybe some HP investment. You won't need Predation just because you're going to be using Prowl for your escape most of the times. So I don't know. If you guys got any cool Maeve loadouts, throw them in the comment section down below, but I'm not going to talk about it anymore just because we have a shitload of champions to still go through. On to Makoa. I'm going to say Leviathan fucking sucks. One of the worst talents in the game currently. The only reason you would ever choose Makoa is for half shell, which can be good. Makoa can actually be a decent point tank now, or as an off tank with Pluck, which is his most common reason why you're going to be choosing him currently, at least on console. I know he's a lot more popular on PC, but for console, if you're going to be playing him, it's mainly just for half shell or off tank as Pluck, which is more common. If you're going with like a Pluck set, you're going to want the Harden, which gives you DR after hitting somebody with Dredge Anchor. Reduce cooldown of Dredge Anchor. Just a lot of these main type cards for Dredge Anchor. Increase your movement speed. Rampage is a good card on like a Pluck type build. Increase your healing. Determination, one of the best cards in any of his loadouts. Getting that extra 25% rejuve built into your loadout. Great card to have. Last card is kind of just filler, whatever you really want. I don't know, I'll just put like lighter cannonballs there, just because I really don't know. But this is mainly some type of loadout you'd have for Pluck. Mainly these two cards, and then mostly filler. As for like a half shell set, I'd run Barrier Reef at a 5. Just to constantly be getting that shield reset, just because you're going to be more of like a point tank instead of like an off tank. That's what you're going to be running half shell for. Maybe a card paste, increase your duration, your health and your duration. I don't know, maybe you want those two cards. Maybe Rampage for movement speed. Stuff like that. Last two are kind of just filler cards, but you're going to have the Rejuve card on there, the Termination card. That's the card you kind of mainly want on a point tank set as well. I'd run that at like a 4, and then keep these at like maybe like a 2 or 3, and then a Barrier Reef at a 5, mainly for most of your half shell sets, depending on what you want to run. Like I said, it's all up to you guys, but mainly those type of cards. On to Meldamba, which isn't really that like super common on console, but I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. Well, I really don't play too much Meldamba. Spirit's Chosen, probably the most common talent still. Reduce the cooldown of Mending Spirits, so if you want to have that at 5, you get an automatic cooldown if you miss your hit, scan, heal, which if you're not that good of aiming and you're kind of just like more of a casual Damba player, that's something you're going to want to have at a 5. Some DR while you're healing. Increase your healing received, if you have like another healer. Increase movement speed of people that are being healed with Mending Spirits. Good card to have. A little bit of self-sustain, I guess. Have more of a filler card. What else? Otherworldly is a good filler card. Feel the Spirits, good filler card. Something like this for Spirit's Chosen card. I'm not going to really talk about him, any of his other talents, just because you can kind of run something like this. Just with this Gourd talent, you'd run a little bit more Gourd-orientated cards. But I don't think Ripen Gourd is really that good right now, just because it requires you to stand in one place. And if you're going to be a healer, you want to move around. Your team's going to want to move around. It just requires like more of like a stationary team. If you want to play that, then just play Grover, because Grover's way better. Moji, I'm not even gonna talk about Moji, because Moji's fucking garbage. If you're a new player and you're still playing Moji after level 5, then please don't uninstall the game. Pip, I'm not really gonna talk about Healer Pip very much. I'm gonna talk mainly about Catalyst. Even though it really didn't change, I still think Moxie's a 5. Stuff like that, mainly. Not really too much else. I don't know. It kind of is whatever you really want to run. But mainly Mox is going to be a 5 on like all your Catalyst sets. Apart from that, it's kind of 4 filler cards depending on your playstyle, whichever you want. As for Healer, I'll talk about it a little bit. Mega Potion, I think, is still his best healing talent. Combat Medic is very situational. It really depends on the enemy team comp to work. If you're constantly like getting like jumped by like a flank or like a damage, it really ain't gonna work very well. As for Mega Potion, though, Um, whatever what one it was, I forgot which one. Increase the healing radius of healing potion. You're gonna want that at like 5. Um, Acrobatic Trick, good filler card for a heal mega potion type loadout. Reload, reduce the cooldown of healing potion for every ally it hits. You're gonna want that at 5. Last two are kind of just filler cards. Gift Giver is a good filler card. Moxie is a great filler card. Shrewd Move is kind of just whatever you want in the last one. Mainly for filler. That's going to be mainly for Mega Potion. On to Rom. I don't know. Rom's kind of one of those champions right now is where you kind of run like one talent. Enforcer, 50% DR during Juggernaut. I don't know. Personally, I've been playing increased ultimate charge rate with Earth Splitter lately. I don't think the DR on Juggernaut is even worth anymore, just because they kind of nerfed it pretty heavy. And most of the time during Juggernaut anyway, somebody's going to end up giving you like some type of CC. You're going to get con grabbed. You're going to get lifted by Genos or something like that. You're going to run into some type of CC anyways. So your DR doesn't really help you that much. I'd rather have the alt charges if that's just me personally, but these can go for pretty much everything. DR on Ignition is pretty good. Or CDR on Ignition. Hellish Lodestones, great card to have. Increase your max health, great card to have. Just so you can be as bulky as possible. Whatever one of this is. Reduce your damage taken after using Soul Harvest, good card. Gain a shield after dropping below 30% health, great card. Fanning the Flames, good card. I don't know, it's kind of what you really want to have. Mainly, I'd still put Elixir Lodestones at like 5 for that 15% DR. Then I'd probably get some more HP investment. Even though you have a lot of HP the way it is, the more bulky you are, the better it is. You want to be the bulkiest champion in the game, and you gotta have more HP just to do that, in my honest opinion. Might as well go all out. Apart from that, it's kind of whatever you really want. If you want some shielding on your type of abilities or whatever, a little bit more DR. Very straightforward with ROM. You can pretty much do the same thing with DR and Juggernaut as well. That talent. Subservience is garbage. Don't use it. Ruckus. I'm going to be honest with you guys, I haven't really played too much Ruckus, but I think Rocket Barrage currently is best talent. Reduce the cooldown on Missile Launcher. Your missiles are your main source of damage with this talent, so you're going to be wanting to spam those as much as possible. Metal March, great for DR on your missiles, especially when you're in 1v1 versus like a squishy. Increase your movement speed while firing, pretty good ability, pretty good card. Reduce your damage taken while using Advance, good card. I don't know, last card is kind of just what you really want. You can gain a shield after dropping below 30%, or you can put more HP into your loadout. Last card really doesn't matter, but I'd say mainly 3 of these 4 cards if you're running Rocket Barrage. Aerial Assault, I don't know, it's kind of the same thing. Flux Generation, I don't think it's really worth running that as a talent currently. Sarah is probably one of the most one-dimensional, boring champions to play in the game. More of a beginner champion if you're going to be first getting into the game, want a loadout. I'll show you guys a real good loadout. More Reach is what you're going to be choosing on most of your loadouts if you want to actually heal a team. What? I forgot which card it was. Increase. Oh yeah, Soul Forge. Increase the range which Restore Coal can target allies. You want that at a 5. Increase your movement speed. There's swear she had a CDR card on her heal, but I forgot which one it was. Reduce the cooldown of Rental, that ain't it, it's Restore Soul. Veil is a good card. Good filler card, Sorceress. Increase your movement speed while Shadow Travel is active. Decent card. Boost through Shoot Fade to Black, good card. I'd probably put this card at 5. I forgot to hit that it actually took away her CDR on her heal a couple patches ago, but that just goes to show you how much I really don't play Steris. Mainly something like this. These last 4 cards, kind of pick and choose what you really want, but I'd mainly say something like this. Maybe Veil like 3 or something. Very straightforward. Shaolin, I'm not going to talk about very much, just because he ain't really that popular on console, and I don't think there's really too much explaining that really needs to be done with most of his loadouts. You can kind of just get away with running whatever you want. Mainly, I'd run Poise. If you're running like a recurve, I'd run Poise. And there's some other one. And Bullseye, mainly, if you're running like that type of load. I'd say there's maybe probably those 2 cards can be your main cards in most of your loads anyways. You set the cooldown of Withdraw, hitting an enemy with Crippling Aerial, reduce the cooldown of Rapid Shot. Windfall could be a decent card as like a filler card, reducing the movement speed if you're hitting them with Rapid Shot, allows you to hit a lot more moves. Increase your movement speed, Wanderlust, pretty good card. I put that at like a 3 or 4, most of his loadouts. Apart from that, it's kind of what you really want. Very straightforward with the Shaolin. I'm not going to talk about him very much. Onto Sky. I think Smoke and Dagger still is still her best talent. You're going to be running the Confound at a 5 on like every one of your loadouts for this talent. Poisoner, you're going to run this at a run that at a 5. Heal for Healing Vapors, I'd probably put that like a 3. I don't know, it's kind of whatever you really want, if you want more healing or whatever. Increase your movement speed after getting an E-Limb, good for mobility. Dissipate, decent. Healing Vapors, it's kind of what you really want. I'd probably put this at a 3 to 5 for this card. And then Healing Vapors up all the way up to a 5. Then it's kind of just filler currently for whatever you really want with Smoke and Dagger. Debilitate, I'd put Poisoner at a 5, and then I'd kind of just run whatever you really want. Decrepify instead, mainly, and then I'd take these 2 cards away, these 3 cards. Victory Rush, I think, is more for mobility. I'd put that at a 4 still. Then you kind of just put filler into your loadout, mainly for Debilitate, but I still think Healing Vapors is our best talent currently. It allows you to have a lot more 1v1 potential, even with the cauterized nerf. Strix, the most loadout, like, restricted champion in the game currently, in my honest opinion. He has pretty much 3 useless abilities or talents. I wouldn't say any of these are really good, but if I had to choose one, I'd probably choose Unauthorized Use. I don't know. I think Ruse is probably his most valuable card, at least currently, that hasn't been absolutely nerfed into the ground. 5% all charge every time you hit somebody with your Talon Rifle, I think has a lot of value. Or at least me personally. Which other one? Ammo count. You're going to want some ammo count. Restoring energy upon elimination is good to have. Dexterous, you're going to want that at 4 or 5, most of your loadouts. And meaning when I said Strix is really like limited in his loadouts, you have so many cards you want to run. You want to run Infused Crystals, you want to run Guerrilla Tactics, Dexterous, Cooled Mags. He has a bunch of other cards that you really want to run, but you just don't have the loadout space. Resourceful is a great card to have, especially on a unauthorized use set. I don't know. You want to have some recoil reduction on your pistol for most of your sets. You want to have some movement speed on your stealth. I don't know. It's kind of what you really want to run. Reduce the movement speed penalty of your scope. That's something you want to have as well on a lot of your loadouts. He just has so many good cards and not enough loadout points currently, just because they nerfed the absolute shit out of a lot of his cards. It's the point where you kind of just need everything to make them work, and you can't have everything. But something like this, mainly for a lot of his loadouts, I put Roost at a 5. It's kind of really what you want. You can pretty much run anything with Strix currently and get away with it. It's all personal preference. On to Talus. Inner Strength still his best talent. You're going to be picking that all your times. Bravial Might, you can have that at 4 or 5 in most of your loadouts. The lifesteal is absolutely insane until people start getting cauterized. You can pretty much 1v1 almost anything. Or most things. I wouldn't say you can 1v1 tanks, but most squishies you can 1v1. What other one was it? Reduce the cooldown of Rune of Travel. You're going to want that. Reduce the cooldown of Overcharge. You're going to want that. Heal for an extra amount of health by going back to your rune. You're going to want that. Maybe some extra ammo. This last one's kind of up to you. Extra ammo, DR, while at 40%. I'd probably put that on my loadout personally, but at least something what I'm currently running. I pretty much in all my loadouts I have lifesteal. Depending on type of the team, if the team really doesn't have that like many heavy hitters, if they're going to have a lot of stuff that can really burst you down easy, you need lifesteal to survive. I'd probably put it on most of my loaders anyways, just because it's probably its best card. Apart from that, you can kind of run whatever you want. Transient is great, but you kind of have to stack cooldown reduction or Chronos if you don't have that at like a 3 or 4. Guts is great if you want to have that at 3 or 4 or 5. If you want more DR, really good to have. On to Terminus. Terminus has pretty much 3 viable legendaries. I don't know, or not legendaries, talents. I keep getting it confused. Whatever you want to run. I don't know, personally I like Crush a lot more. Playing God, really good card, probably one of his best cards currently. We can rebuild him. You're going to want that at 5 in most of your loadouts, just so you can get so much health back. Extra health, great card to have. Abomination, good card to have if you're running like a Decimate loadout. Talent. If your Strength of Stone could be a good card. It kind of depends on your playstyle for that one. There was some other card here that, yeah, it watches. It watches in your 1 out of 5. 4 or 5 most of your loadout. It's so fucking broken. With it watches and then playing God and then having like maybe like one other type of card that gives you back Siphon. I forgot which card it was. There was some other card that, Blood and Stone. Something like this. I don't know, you pretty much have your Siphon up the entire time. Terminus right now is kind of broken, honestly. We need to nerf some of these cards. We can rebuild them. I think it might stack with Playing God. Don't quote me on that, not 100% sure, but very, very overpowered currently with some type of loadout. Kind of like this, where you have your Siphon up the entire time. Very hard to deal with. I'm going to skip Tiberius and save him for the end. I'm going to go on to Torvald. I'd say his only current viable talent, at least if you want to use him somewhat before his shields get completely fucking destroyed in like 2 seconds. Thanks Ramp is his only good talent. You can run Field Study if you really want, but it just doesn't have as much value after like 5 minutes into the game, in my honest opinion. Life Giver, Wind Dancer. Live for Freedom, you're going to want on your loadouts. What other one? There was some other one. I forgot what it was. Oh yeah, here, Time Shaper. I mean, that's kind of a more situational card. I wouldn't put that at 5 in most of my loadouts. It kind of depends who you're going to be pocketing. If you're going to pocket something like a Victor or a Tyra, then I'd put it at a 5. If you're pocketing something like an auto attack god like Maeve or something like Andrew or something that really doesn't need too much ammo, I'd keep it at like a 1 or 2. But mainly you're going to run these at a 5. In most of your loadouts, it's going to be something like this. Give or take a couple points in these cards. Last one's kind of just filler. What you really want. Me personally, generating shield after using protection is kind of what I want. I don't know. Something like this, very straightforward, super simple. Pretty much anybody can make a loadout for Torvald and be decent, as long as you have these 2 cards, mainly. Tyra, I'm mainly going to be talking about Burn Monster only. Her other 2 talents are a little bit less common. Not really too much variance there. Hunting Party is kind of useless currently. If you're running like a nade launcher, I'd probably put in the prey at like a 4 or 5, your loadouts, and then the one that you heal. And then I'd probably put Primal Might at a 5, just for that loadout. Those are going to be 2 cards you're going to need for her nade loadout or Mercy Kill. If you're going to be running Firebomb, though, you're going to want Primal Might at a 5. Oh, why it doesn't work? There you go, 5. Then reduce the cooldown. What other one was it? Oh yeah, reduce the cooldown of Firebomb. I want that at 5. Mainly those 2 cards, and then it's kind of whatever you really want. Increase your movement speed while Hunter Mark is active. Generate ammo after kill. It's kind of whatever really you want, honestly. Increase your ammo is kind of what I put on some of my loadout, just so you have a lot more ammo. Increase your movement speed when Firebomb is out for 4 seconds. And then, kind of just filler. Something of maybe these 3 type cards, and then this filler mainly for most of our loadouts. Very simple, very straightforward. Victor, I'd say Victor currently only has like 1 viable talent, being Burst Mode. It's pretty much a no drawback talent. You do just as much damage with Burst Mode than you can with Cardio or Shrapnel. You're going to be picking this 99% of the time. There's no reason to pick any of his other talents. Victor's probably one of the easiest champs in the game to make a loadout for. You're going to run Predator at a 4 or at a 5 in all your loadouts. Compensation you're going to want, just so you're a lot more accurate. It kind of depends. If you can aim, then you really don't need it, but reflexes, I don't know, I kind of put these on a lot of my loadouts. It really depends. Grenadier, you're going to want it like a 4, just because I think you're going to be using your grenade a lot. They nerfed the shit out of Scramble, so now Cardio is kind of worthless. I don't know, the last card's kind of just filler if you want extra ammo. It really doesn't matter on a burst mode set though, so I wouldn't even run that on a burst mode set, just because you're automatically set to 30 ammo on a burst mode set, if you guys did not know that. But I probably put Running Gun, probably like a 3. And then these 2 are kind of more just filler cards, and then whatever. As long as you have Predation at like a 5 and Grenier on your loadout somewhere, then you're pretty much good. Very super simple to make Victor loadout and be successful with it. Vivian, Opportunity Chaos, probably still her best talent. I really don't know. She has a few different things. If you don't want max ammo and like just fire forever, she has a lot of cool stuff. 25% lifesteal, absolutely fucking insane. Especially with the cauterized nerfs, she can pretty much 1v1 a lot of stuff until they get cauterized. Hidden reserves, and then you're gonna want unchecked ammunition, eyes on the prize, good filler card, and then it's kind of just whatever you want for the last one. Lightweight alloy, whatever, filler cards. Mainly, if you want to run it currently, I think lifesteal is almost like a must. Having that lifesteal, and then having some, pretty much running these at a 3. I'd probably run both of these at like a 3 or 4, and then just 2 filler cards, mainly what you can run with her currently. Willow, honestly, I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. I've played Willow like 5 times so far in season 3. She's absolutely garbage. But if you're gonna be playing, you have to run Blast Flower. That's the only reason you're going to be getting decent damage. Just Believe, mainly you're going to be putting on most of your loadouts. I don't know, maybe Sprightly. I don't know. It's kind of, I really don't even know what to run with most of her loadouts just because she's such a bad spot currently. There's just no reason to really pick her up. Maybe Health, I don't know. I think the only card you really need to have with her currently is Just Believe. Run that at 5, so you get that CDR on your entire build. Apart from that, it's kind of what you really want. Increase your movement speed after activating Dead Zone. Reduce the cooldown of Sealing for each enemy hit. That would be more of like a scoring build, in my honest opinion. I don't know. Reduce the cooldown of Dead Zone. It's kind of what you really want. And after that, I'd say her only really mandatory card currently is Just Believe. Apart from that, just run whatever you want, and you'll be fine. If for some reason you choose to play Willow. Ying, I don't know. People are going to be playing a lot of Damaging. I'm not going to talk about Damaging very much. I'm going to talk about Healing, Ying, Lifestyle Exchange. I forgot which one it was. Reduce the cooldown of Illusion when every enemy kills an illusion. There we go. When an illusion dies to an enemy. So if somebody's shooting at your illusion, you'll get a 2.5 second cooldown, which is probably one of her best cards. I think Rewind, decent card, just mainly for your escapes and confuse people. Encouragement, probably one of your main cards. Use the cooldown of Shatter, which I know did get nerfed, but I still think it's one of her best cards. I don't know, Carry On, mainly. I don't know, if people are going to be destroying your illusion anyways, I kind of think it's kind of a little bit of a shitty card. It's kind of whatever you really want to run. Honestly, for your last loadout card. Mainly, if you're going to be playing Life Exchanging, I'd probably have these 3 cards. Encouragement at a 5. I think the CDR in both of these is super important for what you want to do. And then Rewind, just mainly just add like a 1 just for filler, just so you can have that one, like a half dead illusion wherever you decide to spawn during Dimensional Link. Mainly for escape purposes, I kind of like that card. Last 2, just whatever they want to run. I say Burial is probably one of her better cards to run there. Honestly, up to you. Zin, I'm going to be completely honest with you guys, I don't really play too much Zin. I kind of just throw a loadout together and just kind of go. It kind of depends on what you want to do. Guillotine, no drawback. Talent, his best talent currently. No reason to use any of his other talents. Unless you have like an absolute shitty healer, and then you run his healing talent during Smolder. But at least for me, I think running this at like a 3 or 4. Fan the Flame still is one of his better cards. It kind of really depends on what you want to run. If you want movement speed, if you want like resets on certain abilities, that's kind of what you got to choose from with Stin currently. Increase your movement speed during Billow. You can want that at a 3 or 4. Use the cooldown of Whirl after using Billow. Filler card. I don't know, last Heartless I think is a decent one as well. Increasing movement speed after getting Killing Blow. Decent filler card. Mainly these 2 cards I'd say in a decent amount of his loadouts. And that's kind of his filler card. If you want like cooldown resets or cooldown reduction, or if you want like movement speed on a lot of his abilities, I don't know, kind of straightforward. Very simple, depending on what you want to run and what your playstyle is mainly. Back to Tiberius, the last champion in this video. I still think Tigron's Fury is his best talent. Don't get me wrong, I think on certain maps, Predatory Instincts can work, and I think Vicious Assault needs to be reworked. It's garbage. There's no reason to run that talent. I think he only has 2 viable talents and 1 niche talent, which is Predatory Instincts. I think Tigron's Fury is the only talent you're going to be running most games. Hone Sense, one of his best cards still, even after the nerf. Instrument of Fate, you're going to want that card at 5 in most of your loadouts. Test of Strength, one of his best cards. Bragging Rights, I guess, is a good, decent filler card, and I'd probably just put ammo. Honestly, it's mainly these 3 type cards you're really gonna need for a Tigron's Fury loadout. Me personally, I like to run this at a 5, and run this at a 5, and then that's pretty much my loadout. I legit have like 2 or 3 loadouts when it's just these 2 cards, and then just like 3 different filler cards on a lot of my loadouts. I'd say Hone Sense you really don't even need at like a 5 anymore. He gets it with how much spammy the combat trance really is, and taking into consideration how much ult charge you're going to be getting by hitting like all your chalk rooms during combat trance, and how much ult charge that really adds up to. You really don't need that much ult charge. This card you really don't need at a 5 for your combat trance. I'd rather run it in like different cards. Mainly these 2 cards for most of your loadouts, then it's kind of just 3 filler currently. Granted, this is they probably still run on that like 2 or 3, and then maybe like ammo. It just depends what you really want. Primer for his other talent, Predatory Instinct. I'd actually run I'd run Bragging Rights at a 5. So you're getting, I think, like 60 healing per chakram or something like that. And I'd run like more ammo, and then maybe some other type of filler cards depending on what you really want to use. More mobility, shields, healing, whatever you really want. For like a Predatory Instinct type build. But apart from that, if there's any loadouts I did not discuss or any cards that I missed, forgot to talk about, let me know in the comment section down below. And let me know what you guys think of this types of videos. If you guys did enjoy this type of series, let me know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching. Leave a like, subscribe if you're new, share the video. Honestly helps me out and honestly appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in a future video. Thanks for watching.